Tonight, we'll highlight Operation Popcorn, a program that's allowed those affected by organ donations to thank healthcare staff for over 30 years. Plus, a profile on a man that's on a trip from Alaska all the way to Argentina, promoting how to lower your carbon footprint. And Prince George has been ranked the 4th highest city in Canada in terms of donations given, according to GoFundMe. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. To begin tonight, the Independent Investigations Office of BC is investigating the death of a woman near Vanderhoof. On November 26, the IIO was notified of concerns regarding the police response to a request for a wellness check for a woman on the Cedar First Nation. Information provided by the Vanderhoof RCMP confirmed that on October 11th, police were called to conduct a wellness check at a residence. Officers took steps but were unable to locate the affected person at the time. Then on November 5th, the woman that was the subject of the wellness check was found deceased within 1 kilometer of that same residence. Initial investigative steps will seek to confirm details leading up to the woman's death, as well as what, if any, role police actions or inaction may have played in the incident. And a quick note, though the IIO has not specifically named the subject of this investigation, as CKPG News previously reported, Chelsea Qua was reported missing from Cedar First Nation on October 11th, and RCMP confirmed on November 6th that she was found deceased on Cica's territory. In other local news, 2023 marks 32 years since Operation Popcorn has allowed those affected by organ donations to thank healthcare staff. And on Tuesday, families had their chance to say thank you. Adam Burles reports.
For many healthcare workers working in organ donation, the first week in December brings the delivery of big red boxes filled with popcorn to kickstart the holiday season. Rick and Noreen Woodford had the chance to personally thank healthcare workers at UHMBC as their son Matthew was an organ donor.
He gave 4 gifts of life, lungs, kidneys, and liver, and not a day goes by that we don't miss him. We love him very much and are very, very proud of him.
Taylor Burley was a student at Mackenzie Secondary School and a hockey player. He was 17 years old when he was involved in a car crash. His mother Jody tells us the story from there.
We discovered his brainstem was damaged. And so they gave time, obviously, for his body to heal, which it did naturally, and then it just was too damaged. And then BC Transplant came in and gave us and we had a really good chat, and we didn't even hesitate when it came to making the choice for him to be an organ donor.
Rick and Noreen decided to become volunteers with BC Transplant, and for them, the experience has helped with the healing process.
We decided to volunteer with BC Transplant. It just really helps with the healing, and it's doing something positive.
BC Transplant is encouraging as many people as possible to sign up as organ donors, as the need is great.
The key thing is like 450 to 500 people receive organs every year in BC, but there's still 500 people waiting. So that's why we're here. We want to get the information out. We want people to be on that list.
Organ donations save countless lives in BC each year.
The great news is there's over 6,000 people alive in BC right now because of organ donation. Right? That's 6,000 people that wouldn't be here. It's just incredible numbers. And BC Transplant is a great organization. They treat you great. Noreen and I have no regrets.
If you'd like to register as an organ donor, visit register.transplant.bc.ca. Adam Burles, CKPG News.
People around town and the province have been giving and giving all year long. As such, several cities in BC are at the top of the GoFundMe annual list of the most generous communities in Canada, including Prince George. Dave Branco has more.
When some people think of Prince George, they think of Mr. PG. According to a new list released by GoFundMe, 8 of the 10 most generous Canadian communities per capita are in BC. One of them is Prince George.
We're standing in the Prince George Conference and Civic Centre. We just had Festival of Trees. That event cannot happen without its volunteers. And whether it's, taking trees out of boxes and fluffing them up, or decorating, or putting in the hours during the event to keep it all moving, people step up and do what needs to be done. And I think when you have any organization with the clarity to help communicate what they need, people have a way then to latch on to how they can contribute.
The other cities that made the top of the list were in Ontario. Nanaimo, Victoria, Prince George, North Vancouver, Vancouver, New Westminster, Kelowna, and Maple Ridge all made the list.
The data speaks for it themselves. We don't know why. It's just extraordinary that it's so weighted heavily towards BC.
Recently, at the Festival of Trees, a donation of $1 million was made towards the festival and the Spirit of the North Healthcare Foundation.
I give to others, whether it's time, talent, or treasure. I feel better. I feel better about me, and I feel better for having reached into the lives or into the cause that's involved.
This year, GoFundMe has recorded 2 million donations in Canada for people, causes, and organizations. It compares to almost 1.86 million donations over the same period in 2022. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
The Bank of Canada is keeping its key interest rate at 5% because higher interest rates are clearly restraining spending. The central bank says the combination of weaker growth and a cooling job market suggests demand is no longer outpacing supply in the economy and that this slowdown is necessary to restore price stability. However, the Bank of Canada isn't ruling out future rate hikes just yet, saying it's still concerned about risks to the outlook for inflation.
And we can see that the inflation data has kind of come back down a little bit more to planet Earth compared to past months when the Bank of Canada was increasing rates. I think that the higher than average inflation and interest rates over the last 2 years has put a ton of pressure on people. And so, when it comes to people in Canada, this is generally good news. That said, we're clearly still in a holding pattern. And the Bank of Canada isn't ready yet to bring those rates down.
It's a big day nationally in the fight against violence against women, as today marks the 34th anniversary of the infamous Montreal Massacre. It was December 6, 1989, that Marc Lepine walked onto an engineering class at l'École Polytechnique in Montreal and shot 14 women. It launched the National Day of Remembrance, an action to fight violence against women.
I think toxic masculinity just, defaults to the heteropatriarchy, like ultimate power, not needing to stand side by side with anyone, quite frankly. But I think in 2023, it's not a good strategy. Toxic masculinity oppresses men, they should not feel uncomfortable doing things they want to do. So if you want to do it, make it something that a man does by being a man who does it.
I believe that all the countries are trying their best to kind of mitigate violence in one way or the other. Like just how the Western world had all the waves of feminism. Similarly, African countries, Asian countries also had their own feminist movements going on. It's just that we don't unfortunately hear about these small little feminist movements because they're taught more from a Western perspective. But yeah, I believe that feminist movements happening globally, and women all over the globe are doing some amazing work to mitigate gendered violence.
We'll move now to a man that's on a journey from Alaska to Argentina and wants to help educate people on how to reduce their carbon footprint. Dave Branco met up with him on his pit stop here in Prince George, and as he tells us now, he believes that we all have the tools around us to improve the quality of life for future generations.
For many, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. For Fabrion Bebrion, he started with a bang.
And that's the power of hydrogen.
Bebrion has built his own on-demand hydrogen generator to complement his carbon-burning RV.
Becoming more self-sustainable is a win-win situation for you and the planet that we live in. And we do this through small steps like growing our own food, creating our own fuel if possible, okay? And also trying to minimize our carbon footprint in every single way possible.
Periodically, he stops and fills up with gasoline and water to get to the next leg of his journey.
And I have a very small one that if you have that in your house with just a solar panel and a small battery of a car, you can produce 3 liters per minute of hydrogen. Now you add it up throughout the whole day. Make the math.
Bebedion is not suggesting that people make their own hydrogen gas plants. He just wants people to challenge the government or companies to develop products that will help future generations.
So I start doing things with the environment. And in 2007, I get related with clean fuels. I start working with hydrogen. I put a company of hydrogen in Colombia. I play a lot in every single vehicle that I had in USA, in Los Angeles, and I actually did a campaign throughout the whole Argentina, 23,000 kilometers in a motorcycle with hydrogen 5 years ago. And now that I started in Alaska a couple months ago, in September of this year.
The journey for Bebedion will take a few years, with plans to stop and share his learning on protecting the planet.
Whatever we have seen, we better take care of it. But our kids, if they are super lucky, they're gonna be looking at a very downgraded thing, and on and on and on. We're going down, that's for sure. It's just a matter of if we wake up on time, we can minimize the collateral damages of our behavior.
Dave Branco, CKPG News.
Even though we are a week into December, we've still had some bear sightings around the city. The warmer winter is playing a role in keeping bears out of their dens longer than usual, but it's not just that. Conservation officers say both the weather and food supply play a role in the start of hibernation, and attractants like food are still available in the city. Garbage management isn't usually something many people consider this late into winter, but because it's not as cold as usual, conservation officers say you still need to stay vigilant.
Sometimes we do have a few bears that stay in town for prolonged periods of time, but with cold weather, they're triggered to go into den, and usually garbage is not a problem when it's really cold in the winter, but we always recommend people have very good attractant management practices. There are still bears in town, and it's good practice to keep your garbage secured at all times, because then you remember when bears wake up and we don't have repeat summers like we did this year with all the issues with bears in town.
One of Prince George's oldest clubs may soon find itself without a home, and it's scrambling to find a new facility. Tommy Osborne visited the Silvertip Archers and brings us this story.
More than 150 archers will soon be without an indoor facility to practice during the winter. Austin Road Elementary School, the former school-turned-practice facility, is getting torn down in the spring to make space for a daycare center. Calling it one of the nicest facilities the club has ever had, coaches and members all say this is going to be a tremendous loss not just for the club, but Prince George as a whole.
It is a huge loss for the community. Right now, our club membership, we range from a couple 8-year-olds all the way up to an 86-year-old. Not only do we have the Junior Archers program here, we also have school kids coming in generally 2 to 3 times a week. We have different schools bringing students in for classes.
Prince George is home to several young and talented archers, including 17-year-old Avery Patterson, who competed in last year's Provincial Winter Games. For her and all the other archers here, a dedicated facility is needed to stay at such a high level.
I would be left shooting at home, and coming here I get a chance to shoot with my coaches, and I get to shoot with other archers as well, which is something really nice for tournaments because you get to shoot alongside archers and get the feel for shooting with other people than just alone.
The club does have an outdoor facility, but that can't be used in the winter, essentially cutting their season for anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Unfortunately, finding a new facility isn't as easy as simply getting a new gym.
Finding something this nice is really expensive. And unfortunately, as a nonprofit, we don't have that kind of money to rent at full market value. So we are constantly looking, and right now we're still struggling with finding a place for us.
It's nice because we have the distance, because it's an 18-meter range, which is the required indoor range. And some places don't have that, and it'd be harder to shoot. This is the nicest range that I know that we've had out of all of the ones we've had since the club opened up.
The search continues, and both Wiebe and Patterson say a new facility would mean everything to the club. If you have any ideas or potential locations, the Silvertip Archers ask that you reach out right away. You can contact them through its website. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
The 4th annual Light the Night event will be taking place this year on New Year's Eve, with proceeds going towards a good cause. Here's more.
This is our 4th annual Light the Night, and what it was originally designed to do is to raise money to support the Royal Canadian Legion. The idea came to somehow get the community behind fireworks and supporting a good cause at the same time. The idea is that everybody in the city were to buy one cake in advance to set off in their backyard at 9 o'clock on New Year's Eve, when there's still time for the young kids to enjoy it, and set them up and have fireworks going off all over the city safely in their backyard.
The Golden Age Social went down today at the Civic Center, hosted by the College of New Caledonia and the Prince George Council of Seniors. It's a chance for local seniors to get together in the run-up to the holiday season. Cheryl Jan reports.
CNC's Healthcare Assistant Program teaches the skills to care for persons with disabilities who live in long-term care facilities or in private homes. And this event was an opportunity for these students to shine. It's the Golden Age Social.
The Council of Seniors was looking for sponsorship, and they were having a difficult time obtaining that sponsorship. So we had some grant money available, and I thought, what a better way to showcase what CNC can do for the community and to allow the students and provide them with this learning opportunity and the ability to give back to the seniors.
I love seniors. I love my grandparents, and one of my family members went into a long-term care facility, and they were taken care of so well, and I just really wanted to give back to the community and do my part that I could. So I'm going to start out as a care aide and go from there. You build such amazing connections, but hopefully I'll progress with my career into nursing.
The Prince George Council of Seniors has had a hand in putting on this event and says it's important for seniors to socialize in settings like this.
We're finding in the winter seniors have a harder time getting around. Accessibility is a little bit more limited because of the ice. So coming to events like this gives them the opportunity to socialize, meet other people out in the community. This event also brings in seniors from all of the agencies, so all of the long-term care homes, home support, everybody is welcome.
Prince George's seniors population and the national population is one of the fastest growing demographics, and services for seniors are more important than ever before.
I think we can always use more services, and the Prince George Council of Seniors, we operate many resources and services, and we operate entirely on grants and donations from our community. So we're so dependent on these grants and donations.
And this is all about celebrating those who helped forge this country. Bon appetit. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
The City of Prince George is now considering reducing garbage pickup from once a week to every 2 weeks. And in my opinion, there's no question City Council needs to pull the trigger on this and hopefully increase recycling at the same time to make up the difference. Why? Quite simply because for households who are utilizing curbside recycling to take all the metal, plastic, cardboard, and paper out of their garbage, their blue bins are overflowing while their garbage cans are often nearly empty. If your garbage can isn't full, it's likely you are not taking advantage of the Blue Box recycling program that gets picked up right in front of your house. This Recycle BC program is a provincially funded program that is supported by the city, and so while it's still all our tax dollars paying for it, there is much less of a direct local tax burden by utilizing this provincial program over our locally funded garbage pickup system. And we need to remember that garbage is really expensive. When you throw something away, one naturally tends to think that it's the end of it, but it's not. It's just the beginning. We have to pay for the labor to pick up that garbage. We have to pay for the specialized and expensive garbage truck. We have to maintain and eventually replace that expensive garbage truck. We have to pay the regional district to take the garbage. And if it gets buried, we have to monitor and take on the liability of that garbage forever. Yes, the costs never end. So if we can save a bundle and do the right thing for the environment, it's a no-brainer. On social media lately in particular, many people have raised the issue of the bear problem. But if you keep your garbage secure, you will not have a bear problem. A bear lives behind my neighbor's house on my street, and it only bothers the people who leave their garbage out. It never bothers the people who secure their cans. The huge spike in bears in the city last summer was not because of an increase in garbage. It was due to the severe lack of berries and food in the forest, which is another sign that we should be doing everything we can to limit our impact on climate change. So there's no question we should be taking full advantage of a provincially subsidized program that will at the same time decrease our carbon footprint and reduce our local tax burden. I'm Chris Beach, and this is Northern View.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is currently sitting at $1.49.9 a litre at Costco. The lowest price in the province right now is in Nanaimo at $1.45.9 per litre. Alberta currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.26.8 a litre. Meanwhile, BC has an average price of $1.66.9 per litre.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
It was a huge week for the Cedar Christian Senior Boys volleyball team. First it was third place, then last year it was second place, but this year they finally won it all, being crowned provincial champions and bringing home the gold. Anthony Correa caught up with some of the boys to tell the story of their season.
Throughout the season, we just keep getting closer, and of course, these are like a lot of my classmates. So I've known them for like many years.
Over the course of the season, we may have had some difficulties, maybe, but just through it all, this whole season experience just made us stronger as a team, you know.
It was a great season for the Cedars Christian Senior Boys volleyball team. After dominating the year, they were off to provincials ranked #1 in BC.
This year has been by far our most successful year in the city, winning a lot of tournaments, placing high. Going into provincials ranked #1 was kind of stressful, but it was really nice.
So there was a lot of pressure from other teams that we beat, and also just other teams that we talked to, and friends and all the other people as well. They're like, oh, you better beat Unity, you better get first place, you guys deserve it, you guys should definitely win.
During the tournament, there was one mindset.
The motto, business as usual.
Kind of just again, business as usual.
Business as usual, you know.
Explain business as usual, kind of what that means, where it came from.
One of our coaches came up with it, and it's just we play the same way no matter what team we play. If it's a really good team or a really weak team. I think one of the things that happened this year a lot was we would get behind in a game, but we would always bring it back because business as usual.
Fast forward, the team is in the finals, taking on Unity for a best-of-5 sets final. Coming down to the 5th and final set, winner takes all.
You're nervous at that point. It's the last set. You got 15 points. I just said to the boys, if you said at the start of the year you could be in the gold medal match in the 5th set, would you be pretty happy with that? And they were we'd be excited, right? So,
but then we went up 14-11, and at that point I was just already smiling, knowing how it was going to end. And then we got it up, and our setter set it to our first team all-star, Ryan Christina, and he hit it for game. And it's I just turned around to go celebrate with the team, and as soon as I turned, I just see the whole crowd of at least 150 kids storming towards us and just jumping up and down with us, so it was great.
And Cedars Christian Senior Boys were finally provincial champions.
The satisfaction of getting 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, it's kind of cool that you can say that you have experienced all 3 of those scenarios.
It's like a fairy tale ending. It was just awesome to last year, come out on top. Finally, after 3 years, getting all 3 placements on the podium. Yeah, it was really a hard-fought battle, a hard uphill season, I'd say.
They just had they've had a confidence all season just because of their consistent. They play really consistent volleyball, and so they just had to rely on that. Yeah, it just worked out in the end.
The TSX is down 102 points to close at 20,274. The Dow Jones is down 70 points to close at 36,054. And CN Rail went up $1.54 to close at $160.04.
Good evening again, everyone. We are going to see maybe some sunshine tomorrow. That's kind of what we are expecting. And then things will start to cool down and break down a little bit in terms of moisture. The next system is Saturday. But this is a quick look back at the day. Again, mainly cloudy out there. We did see some instability in some areas, but in behind is a nice clearing trend. So Wednesday, or into Thursday rather, it's partly cloudy tonight, by the way. And then into tomorrow, some sunnier skies, sun cloud mix. Fog, though, developing overnight, should dissipate as the morning goes on tomorrow, so it could be a bit of a difficult start in terms of visibility tomorrow when you're driving around. Just keep that in mind. But otherwise, a pretty nice afternoon expected. And Friday looks fairly dry as well. There's action happening down through the southeast, but nothing really in the way of moisture coming our way. The next system is Saturday. That's what the timing on the next system that's coming in, and that's going to hit the province, bringing with it some heavier rain showers. And then as it tracks towards us and inland a little bit, of course, that switches over to chance of snow. So we are probably going to see a pretty snowy Saturday. And it's not just for us, it's many areas down through the southern interior, the Okanagan as well. And even tomorrow up through parts of the north coast, we're seeing some heavier rain showers, Prince Rupert, some flurries in through Terrace. But again, foggy for us, and hopefully we'll see a bit of a clearing trend through the afternoon or breaks in the clouds. But certainly fog will be evident through the early half of the morning. -2 will be our high. So we're starting to cool down in terms of our temperatures. And again, wind chills are always something to take into account at this time of the year as well. We don't have really gusty winds expected the next day or so, but certainly it will feel a little cooler in the morning hours especially. There could be some showers in the southern interior and some precipitation, much like today down through much of the Okanagan. But again, even Kamloops and some parts of the interior expecting to see some sunny breaks through the afternoon. Wetter weather along the south coast, and as you go way up into the Peace there north of us, well, lots of sunny sky, but cooler weather is on the horizon. So I think we're done with all the warmer weather that we've had, or the mild temperatures we've been able to report, and now moving back into average temperatures and maybe even below average in by next week. -3 for Vanderhoof, -4 Mackenzie, again Fort St. James around that as well, and lots of cloud cover. Along the west, things are starting to change a little bit. It was nice and bright today in many areas in Alberta and through Saskatchewan as well. But tomorrow, looking at a chance of flurries in both areas. At 6 degrees Winnipeg, colder further east still, -7 Montreal. Toronto going to pick up a few more centimeters of snow as well. Snow and then sun is kind of how to sum up our weekend. And again, so at this point, it's really Saturday for the most part in many areas that we will see the instability, and then returning to sunshine. But it remains very cool after the weekend. So snow will likely remain on the ground. -11 with low-lying clouds tonight, some fog developing overnight, carrying into tomorrow for Burns Lake, and then we're in for some sunnier skies late week. Mackenzie -6, again fog tonight into the morning, maybe a break in the afternoon, but Friday looks to be your best bet before the snow comes to see some sunshine. McBride -8, a little bit of snow is possible tonight, but mostly it'll be cloudy. Tomorrow, a break in the clouds through the day as the day progresses, and then here's that precipitation that's really going to take hold for quite a few days actually, and through most of the weekend. Quesnel, clouds tonight, -6 up to only -1 tomorrow, so certainly a bit cooler. Breezy and snowy on Saturday. Temperatures aren't too bad actually by the weekend though. And for us as well, Prince George, we are looking at -5 tonight, -2 tomorrow, some fog, low-lying clouds, possibly a break in the clouds in the afternoon, but a mix of sun and cloud Friday, and there's the snow for Saturday.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix-and-match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
With Prince George Cougars forward Riley Heidt controversially not chosen for the national junior team selection camp roster for the upcoming 2023 World Juniors, we caught up with Mark Lamb, head coach and GM of the team, to get his thoughts on the decision. Take a look.
People make decisions, right? And you know, the Hockey Canada people got to make their decisions. And, you know, we coach the kid every day, and he's leading the league in scoring. He's a big part of our power play, which is running very well. He's a big part of our penalty kill that's running very well, and I just think he deserves to be there.
We'll move now to the best highlights in sports, plus some happy and sad storylines from last night's sport action in tonight's CKP3.
Let's start with more NBA in-season tournament action.
22 seconds to go. And a trip to Vegas on the line. 6-second difference. Reeves. Oh, yeah! Lakers lead by 4.
Austin Reeves with the clutch bucket. The Lakers are off to Vegas to take on the Pelicans in the semifinals. Next, heartbreak in the Hughes Bowl.
Wrist one down. Here's Palat turning. Feeds back. Ball. Wrist shot. Stop. Grant scores. Jesper Bratt opened the scoring. Has he closed it as well?
None of the Hughes brothers in on this one, but it's Jesper Bratt with the game winner, just 30 seconds left for the Devils. This after the Canucks staged a big comeback. Is it time to start worrying? Finally, thank you, Sinclair.
A moment that is always felt unfathomable, but was always inevitable. Christine Sinclair exits the field for the final time wearing the Canadian Maple Leaf.
Christine Sinclair's final moments with the Canadian women's national team. The best Canadian soccer player in history as she takes top spot in tonight's CKP3.
Hello from the CKPG Today side. Don't know if the term squeeze box is familiar to you out there, but it's quite an impressive instrument. Really, how it works, how it sounds, and even how easy it is to play. But you got to have a good teacher to learn how to do it. Today, we're going to learn how to play the accordion as the PG Conservatory of Music has their Christmas concert coming up, and it features an accordion. You don't get to say that very often. I just love the word. Today we're going to learn how to play it on the show. Yeah, you'll get to see how that goes. Plus, as well, we're taking a little look at making some mitts because, you know, your hands might be getting a little cold this winter as well. All that and more coming up on this side. Of course, it's always exciting over here when we get musical instruments. Are you good at the accordion? You ever played it?
Can't say that I am, Caden Fanshawe, but you know what? Our own Tommy Osborne is quite the musician. That might be a better question for him. I bet you he's got some knowledge in the accordion. Okay, it's time for the next edition of CKPG's Festive Photo Contest, which is running for just 7 more days. We have a submission from Jill tonight, and it's a couple of Rudolphs. Look at this. What a lovely picture. You know, I think this one probably takes the cake for the best quality photo we've gotten so far. Clearly some I don't know if it's professional photography being done here, but it's very good photography. Love this picture, very cute. And of course, it's in the Christmas spirit. That's what we want to see. Keep sending in those pictures. We've had some great ones so far. Personal favorite of mine was the seal giving the big smooch a couple of days ago. The prizes for the Festive Photo Contest are a $4,000 gift certificate from the Prince George Airport and Uniglobe Sunburst Travel towards a WestJet nonstop flight and all-inclusive trip to Puerto Vallarta. But that's not all. You'll also get $1,250 in a prize pack from all of our sponsors. All you do is submit your festive photos to our website, ckpgtoday.ca, under the contest section. And that's all the time we have tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. And we have a great last look this evening. It's a classic, Mr. PG in all of his glory. Enjoy. Have a great night, folks. We will see you tomorrow.